Welcome back to Conversion Bible. And get this deep dive on how to really make your Shopify product descriptions sing it's powered by Growth Suite.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Growth Suite, it helps you run all those, smart discount campaigns on your store. You can test it out for free, completely free on your Shopify store. Just head over to the Shopify App Store and boom, free trial. Okay, so have you ever scrolled through a gorgeous online store? You know, the visuals are just stunning.
Totally.
And you just assume everything is top notch, right?
Makes sense.
But then you click on a product and the description, it's like meh, like someone just threw it in there as an afterthought.
It's so true. It happens all the time. In that rush to get everything online, those words, the product descriptions,
Yeah.
they kind of get left behind. But think about it from the shopper's point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't touch the product.
Right.
They can't really see all the details.
Yeah.
That description, that's their lifeline. That's how they figure out what the heck they're buying.
That's such a good point. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Why those little blocks of text, those product descriptions, why they are a secret weapon for boosting your sales and, getting seen. We're going deep on an article called Optimizing Shopify Product Descriptions for Conversions and SEO, the Conversion Bible by Mohammed Tufekcipan.
Catchy title.
Right. It came out just this past March, and it covers everything, like how to actually write those descriptions, the strategy behind them, the psychology of making people click buy, testing, analytics, even how Shopify apps can help.
The whole shebang.
Totally. And the main takeaway, your product descriptions, they are not just there to fill up space, they are sales machines. They directly impact your bottom line.
100%. When someone lands on your product page, they're not just window shopping. They're looking for an answer. They're thinking, does this thing solve my problem?
Right.
Does this make my life better? A good product description is like, boom, here's why you need this.
I love that boom. It's validation right there on the page. And it's tricky because, you're actually writing for two audiences at once. You've got the actual person reading, the one you want to persuade to buy, but then you also have the search engines.
Right.
Google and all those. They need their keywords to figure out what you're selling and show it to the right people.
It's a balancing act, for sure. You need to be compelling for humans, but you can't forget about those keywords. And it matters, a lot. Studies show that almost 90% of shoppers, 87% to be exact, say product content is super important to their buying decision. But get this, stores that really nail their product descriptions, they see conversion rates jump by 78%. That's almost double compared to stores with those generic descriptions.
8%. That's huge. Okay, so we've established those descriptions matter, but earlier you mentioned something about brand, about how these descriptions connect to your brand. Can you expand on that a bit?
For sure. Think about it this way. Your product descriptions, they're like the voice of your brand. When you keep a consistent tone, a consistent style across all your listings, it builds a strong brand identity. It tells the customer, hey, we care about the details. It builds trust.
So it's not just about information, it's about the feeling, the vibe.
Exactly.
Okay, so we get why great descriptions matter. Now let's talk about the cold hard cash. What are the bottom line benefits? Because let's be real, that's what every store owner cares about, right?
Right. We're all about the ROI. And there are some serious financial advantages here. First up, better conversion rates. We just talked about those potential jumps, anywhere from 30 to 100%.
Yeah, 30 to 100%. That's not chump change.
Not at all. It's like having a whole team of amazing salespeople working for you 24/7, answering questions before the customer even asks them, handling objections, and just making the product irresistible.
So it's all about persuasion, even in writing.
Exactly. And there's a great example in the article about a handmade jewelry store. They went from a measly 1.2% conversion rate to a whopping 3.4% just by focusing on those emotional benefits and really highlighting the craftsmanship.
Wow. Okay, so more sales. What else is in it for us?
Improved SEO. Those product descriptions, they're your ticket to ranking higher in search results. Think about it. Every product page is a chance to snag a top spot for the keywords your customers are actually using. And when you use those keywords strategically in your descriptions, the search engines are like, this page is relevant, let's show it to more people.
And it's not just about any traffic, it's about the right traffic.
Exactly. People who are actually looking for what you sell. And the article mentions this home goods store that saw a 67% jump in organic traffic after they revamped their descriptions for SEO. And get this, that traffic boom led to a 43% increase in sales, all without spending a dime on ads.
Nice. Organic traffic is a beautiful thing. Okay, so we've got more sales, better SEO. What else?
Reduced return rates. This one might surprise you, but think about it. When your descriptions are super clear, you set the right expectations. People know exactly what they're getting, so they're less likely to be disappointed and send it back.
Yeah, that makes sense. No surprises, no returns.
Exactly. They even give an example of a clothing store that slashed their return rate in half from 28% down to 12% just by adding detailed sizing info and really describing those fabrics.
Wow. Okay, so that's huge for the bottom line. Returns are a killer. What else you got?
Two more biggies. Number one, customer loyalty. When you consistently give people all the info they need, they trust you. They feel good about buying from you, and they come back for more.
It's like building a relationship through those descriptions.
Exactly. And last but not least, competitive advantage. In a world of online stores, you need to stand out. Unique, compelling descriptions, that's how you do it.
Right. You're not just selling a product, you're selling the whole experience. Okay, so we're sold on the why. Now let's get into the how. What are the must-have ingredients for a product description that converts?
All right, let's break it down. First up, customer focus, laser focus. You got to put yourself in their shoes. What do they need? What do they want?
Empathize with the shopper.
Exactly. And the article gives a great example, comparing a weak description like, this blender has 5 speed settings and a 700-watt motor, boring, with a strong one like, imagine whipping up your family's favorite smoothies in seconds. It's all about painting that picture. You know?
Benefits, not just features.
Yes, that's number 2. Always, always emphasize the benefits. Features tell, benefits sell. So instead of saying, made with organic cotton, say, feels amazing on your skin and good for the planet, hit those emotional points.
Love that. Connect to values. What else makes a description pop?
Persuasive copywriting techniques. Think sensory language. Make them imagine how it feels, how it smells, even how it sounds. Use powerful words like effortless, game-changing, stunning. And don't forget social proof. Sprinkle in some testimonials. Let them know other people love it.
Right. Build that trust. And sometimes a little urgency can help too, right?
Absolutely. If it makes sense, you can add a touch of scarcity like limited stock or get it before it's gone, but don't overuse it. It has to be genuine. Oh, and storytelling. Even a little mini story about the product can really draw people in, like how it was designed or how people are using it.
I love that idea, weaving a narrative. What about building that trust, that credibility?
Crucial. Make sure you mention any guarantees or warranties, highlight certifications, or anything that says, hey, this is high quality. And definitely sprinkle in expert endorsements if you have them.
Right. Every little bit helps. And then, of course, we need to tell them what to do next.
The call to action. This one is so important. Don't be vague. Instead of just buy now, try something like upgrade your workout and grab your new leggings today. Be specific. Be exciting.
And don't forget the overall tone, the voice.
Absolutely. It has to match your brand.
Yeah.
If you're selling luxury goods, your language is going to be different than if you're selling fun socks or something.
Okay, so we've covered the human side, but now let's talk SEO. How do we optimize those descriptions for the search engines?
Keyword research is where it all starts. You got to find out what people are actually typing into Google when they're looking for products like yours.
What tools are good for that?
Ahrefs, SEMrush, even Google's Keyword Planner. The goal is to find keywords that show buying intent. So instead of just running shoes, you want something like best running shoes for flat feet, something specific.
Right, target those ready-to-buy customers.
Exactly. And don't forget to check out what your competitors are doing, see what keywords they're ranking for.
So once we've got our keywords, where do we put them?
Strategically. Don't just stuff them in there. Aim to include your main keyword in that first paragraph, and then sprinkle variations throughout the rest of the text. If it makes sense, put some in your subheadings too. But remember, it has to sound natural. You're writing for humans first.
Right, no keyword salad. What about those things that show up in the search results, the title and that little blurb underneath?
Title tags and meta descriptions. Your product title in Shopify usually becomes your title tag automatically, so make it count. Include your main keyword near the beginning, keep it under 60 characters, and make it enticing.
Okay, so like a mini headline that grabs attention. What about the meta description?
That's the little snippet that shows up under your title. It's like your elevator pitch. Keep it around 150 to 160 characters, include your keyword, and highlight a key benefit. Give them a reason to click. And good news, you can set this directly in Shopify in the search engine listing preview.
Easy peasy. Now, what about giving those search engines even more information about our products, like really detailed stuff?
Schema markup, my friend. This is like next level SEO. It's basically a way to add labels to your product data so search engines can really understand it.
So it's like behind-the-scenes optimization.
Exactly. It can help you get those rich results in search, where you see things like prices and reviews right there in the search listing.
Ooh, fancy. And most Shopify themes have some basic schema built in,
I
right?
do, but you can supercharge it with apps like JSON-LD for SEO. Make sure you're including all the good stuff like prices, availability, reviews, all of it.
Okay, noted. Now, what about the website address itself, the URL?
Your URL structure matters too. Shopify will usually create URLs based on your product titles, but it's a good idea to edit them, keep them short and sweet, include your main keyword, and use hyphens to separate words.
So human-readable and search engine friendly.
Bingo.
Okay, what about guiding those shoppers around our own store once they're on a product page?
Internal linking. When you're writing those descriptions, think about other products they might be interested in and link to them. It helps customers discover more, and it helps search engines understand how your products relate to each other.
Smart. And we can't forget about mobile optimization, right?
Absolutely crucial. Most Shopify traffic comes from mobile these days. So keep those descriptions short and snappy, use bullet points, short paragraphs, and always preview how it looks on a phone.
Yeah, gotta make it easy to read on the go. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. Now let's get practical. How do we actually organize all this information on the page?
Structure is key. You want to make it easy for people to scan and find what they need.
Right. Nobody's reading these descriptions like a novel.
Nope. First thing to consider is length. For simple, inexpensive products, you can keep it short, like 100 to 250 words. But for more complex or pricey stuff, go longer, maybe 300 to even 1,000 words.
So it depends on the product.
Yeah, definitely. Don't overwhelm them with info they don't need. But for those big purchases, people want the details. It builds confidence.
And visually, how do we make those descriptions easy on the eyes?
Formatting. Use short paragraphs like 1 to 3 sentences max. Break up the text with descriptive subheadings. Use bullet points for features and benefits. And don't be afraid of white space. Makes it all more breathable.
Okay, so it's all about creating that visual flow.
Exactly. Start with a hook, something that grabs attention. Then lay out those key features and benefits. After that, you can get into the nitty-gritty details like sizes, materials, care instructions.
And what about those longer descriptions? How do we organize them?
Break them up into sections, each with a clear heading, like overview, features and benefits, specifications, use cases, maybe even what's included or care instructions.
Super organized. And what about consistency?
Templates are your best friend. Create templates for different product categories. Keeps everything looking consistent and saves you a ton of time in the long run.
And of course, mobile optimization is always in the back of our minds.
Always. When you're structuring those descriptions, think mobile first. Put the most important info up top. Use collapsible tabs for extra details. Make sure the text is easy to read.
Okay, so those words are working hard, but let's talk about the visuals. How do we make sure our text and images play nice together?
They've got to be a team. Your images show what words can't, and your words explain what images can't. It's a beautiful partnership. You can even reference your images directly in the text. Like, check out the close-up in the third image to see the intricate details.
Nice. And I know we've got to talk about ALT text.
ALT text, the unsung hero. It's that alternative text you add to images. It helps people with visual impairments who use screen readers, and it helps with SEO too. Make sure you describe the image accurately, use keywords if they fit naturally, and keep it under 125 characters.
And Shopify makes it easy to add, right?
Super easy. You can do it during upload or later in the media section. Now, what about videos? Those are getting big.
They are. What's the strategy there?
If you've got product videos, show them out in your description. Tell people what they'll see, highlight those key features or benefits the video shows off. But remember, not everyone will watch the video. Make sure your description still gives all the info they need, even without the video.
So it's like a backup, just in case.
Exactly.
And where should we put those images on the page?
Think strategically. Put detailed images near the text that describes those details. Lifestyle shots are great for evoking those emotions, and close-ups are perfect for showing off those textures and little details you mention in the text.
Makes sense. And we can't forget about page loading speed.
Well, that's a big one. Optimize those images, people.
Mm-hmm.
Compress them. Use Shopify's built-in tools. Look into lazy loading if you have a lot of images. Nobody wants to wait for a page to load.
Preach. Okay, so not all products are created equal, right?
Right. A diamond ring needs a different description than a pack of gum.
So how do we tailor those descriptions to different types of products?
Let's talk simple versus complex. For simple stuff, Think sensory details, emotions, quick benefits. Keep it concise, make it stand out. But for complex products, you need to go deeper. Give those technical specs. Explain how they translate into benefits. Address any concerns they might have.
So adjust the level of detail.
Exactly. And think about the buying process. For high consideration purchases, people need a lot of information to feel confident. So go long, provide those details, address those objections. But for impulse buys, keep it short. Focus on the immediate gratification. Maybe throw in a little urgency if it's appropriate.
So different strokes for different folks. And different products, too. What about tailoring descriptions for different categories?
Absolutely. For fashion, it's all about fit and fabric. Give those sizing details, describe how the fabric feels, offer styling tips.
Okay, fashion tips. Got it. What about electronics?
Tech specs are key, but make them understandable. Focus on the practical applications. Explain compatibility. Talk about use cases. For home goods, give them dimensions, materials, care instructions, and really paint that picture of how it will enhance their home.
And food. That's got to be all about taste.
Yes. Flavor profiles, ingredients, sourcing, maybe some pairing suggestions. Make their mouths water.
Okay, so we're getting pretty specific now.
We are. And finally, remember that business to business is different from business to consumer. For B2B, focus on ROI, bulk discounts, all that practical stuff. For B2C, it's more about the emotion, the personal benefits.
Right. Different audiences, different approaches.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're putting in all this effort, but how do we know if it's actually working?
Testing. You got to A/B test those descriptions. It's like a science experiment. Try different versions and see which one performs better.
And what are we testing?
Headlines, length, structure, tone, features versus benefits, calls to action, you name it, you can test it. Shopify has some great apps for this, like split test or A/B testing.
And what are we measuring?
The big one is conversion rate, but also look at add to cart rates, time on page, bounce rate, even return rates.
So we're tracking all the data.
All the data. Run those tests for at least a week or two. Get a good sample size, then analyze those results. Look for statistically significant differences, see what's working, and apply those learnings to other products.
So it's all about continuous improvement.
Yep.
Now, what about user-generated content? Can we use that in our description?
Oh, absolutely. Your customers are a gold mine. Incorporate those reviews, quote those happy customers, even address any concerns they might have raised.
Right. Build that social proof. And what else can we learn from our customers?
Pay attention to their language. What words do they use to describe your products? Use those words in your descriptions. It helps with SEO and makes your descriptions more relatable. And check out those FAQs. What questions are people asking? Answer them in your descriptions or create a dedicated FAQ section.
So we're essentially using their feedback to improve our descriptions.
Smart. Right. And don't forget visuals. If customers are sharing photos or videos of your products, ask if you can use them. It adds authenticity.
Where should we put those testimonials?
Be strategic. Place them near the features or benefits they relate to. Use them to overcome objections. And, if it makes sense, include a little bit of info about the reviewer to make it feel more real.
Okay, so we're tapping into the power of the people.
We are.
Now let's get fancy. What are some advanced techniques we can use to really level up those descriptions?
All right, let's get advanced. Personalization is huge. You can tailor those descriptions based on the individual shopper.
Like what they've looked at before.
Exactly, or how they got to your site. You can highlight different benefits, show different recommendations. Dynamic content is another one. Descriptions that change based on the season, inventory levels, even the customer's location. It keeps things fresh.
I like it. And I know AI is making its way into everything.
It is. There are some awesome AI tools that can help you write those descriptions, generate variations for testing, even analyze your competitors.
Wow. But AI can't do it all, right?
Definitely not. Always review and edit any AI content to make sure it's on brand and accurate.
Human touch is still essential.
100%. Now, if you're selling internationally, think about localization. It's not just about translation. It's about adapting those descriptions to different cultures and preferences.
So it's about understanding your global audience.
Yep. Oh, and microcopy. Those little bits of text, like size guides, shipping info, reassurance near the Add to Cart button, they can make a big difference. And don't forget to update those descriptions seasonally. Highlight relevant use cases, incorporate holiday themes, keep things fresh.
So lots of little tweaks that can add up to big results.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we actually implement all this awesomeness in Shopify?
Well, Shopify's got you covered with its built-in features. You've got the main description field, which supports HTML, so you can add some basic formatting.
Okay, so bold text, bullet points, all that good stuff.
Exactly. You can also use meta fields to store extra info, and you can use tags and collections to organize your products. Now, if you want to get really fancy with the layout, you can customize your theme. You can add tabs, collapsible sections, custom fields.
So make it look exactly how you want it.
Yeah. And don't forget about apps. Shopify has apps for everything. MetaFields Guru, bulk product editor, product description templates, SEO manager. They can make your life so much easier.
Apps are a lifesaver. Now, you mentioned metafields earlier. How do we use those?
Metafields are great for storing specific product details like materials, care instructions, tech specs, and you can display them on your product pages in a nice, organized way.
So it's like adding extra fields for information.
Exactly. And if you have a ton of products, don't worry about updating them one by one. Shopify has a bulk editor. You can export and import data with CSV files, and there are apps for bulk editing too.
Okay, so lots of ways to streamline the process.
Lots of ways.
Now, the million-dollar question. How do we know if all this work is actually paying off?
You got to measure those results. Track those KPIs. Conversion rate, add to cart rate, average order value, time on page, bounce rate, return rate, organic traffic. It's all about the data.
Data is king.
It is.
Yeah.
Set up Google Analytics 4 with enhanced e-commerce tracking. Create segments, monitor your keyword rankings, and don't be afraid to ask your customers for feedback.
Right, those insights are gold. Any other tools we can use?
Heat maps are cool. They show you where people are clicking and scrolling on your page. You can use tools like Hotjar or Lucky Orange for that.
So we can see how people are actually interacting with our descriptions.
Yep. And finally, try to calculate your ROI. Compare your revenue before and after those updates. Factor in the time and resources you invested.
So we can see the real impact on our bottom line.
Exactly.
Okay, before we wrap up, are there any common mistakes we should avoid?
Oh, yeah. There are a few classic ones. Don't keyword stuff. It's tempting, but it hurts your SEO and makes your descriptions sound terrible.
Right, focus on natural language.
Yes. And please, don't use those generic descriptions everyone else is using. Be original. Be compelling. Showcase your brand.
Make it your own. What else?
Keep that tone and voice consistent. Don't forget about mobile optimization. Avoid jargon. Make sure you're not missing any important details. And always, always make sure your descriptions and images work together.
So many things to consider. But it's worth it, right?
Absolutely worth it. The article has some great examples of businesses that saw incredible results from optimizing their descriptions.
Like real-world success stories.
Yeah, like the soap company that increased conversions by 43% and got way fewer customer questions, and a fashion retailer that slashed their return rate by a ton just by improving their size and fit descriptions. It's inspiring stuff.
Okay, so what's the future of product descriptions? What trends should we be watching?
AI is going to get even more sophisticated, which is exciting. Voice search is going to change the game too. We might even see AR integration, where those descriptions guide people through augmented reality experiences. Personalization is going to get even more advanced. And video content, interactive content, it's all going to be more integrated.
So the future is looking pretty dynamic.
It is.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything. Any final words of wisdom?
Remember, those product descriptions are sales powerhouses. Focus on the benefits, make them easy to read, optimize for search engines, and always be testing and improving.
This deep dive on Conversion Bible was powered by Growth Suite.
Oh yeah, Growth Suite.
Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free. So go forth and optimize those descriptions.
Yes, and start small. Pick your best-selling product and give it a makeover, see what happens. You might be surprised by the results.
Great advice. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
My pleasure.